And this is a player that when we did edge rankings, there were a few homies that were like, hey, what about this guy?
That's
hey,
right.
How come you didn't talk about this
Right.
guy? Because we have him as the number 2 defensive tackle, versatile defensive tackle. And that player is?
Darius Robinson, Missouri. Man, how do you not like watching Darius Robinson tape? First off, the first play I'll say to our listeners and the people that send questions in, I think I saw him come off the edge and I went, oh no. Oh gosh, maybe he is an elite defensive end. I think he came off and he dominated a run play, right? And I was like, oh no, maybe he was maybe I messed up, right? But as I went on, no, we got it right. He's a defensive tackle. This is what he is. Now again, I didn't make that determination blind, right? I talked to people in football, and I knew people in football were more evaluated as a D tackle than DN from everything so that's the reason I waited so long. Okay, but I think it starts just with, like, you want to talk about the Greek gaudiest of bodies ever, right? That's where this starts with this guy, too. I love Byron Murphy's body. This is a totally different body. This is like, tall, long, shoulders, arms, great legs, cut up, chiseled, broad-shouldered, 285-pound Greek god statue is what we got of Darius Robinson. Incredible get-off, incredible upper body, hand, arm strength. Like insanity in the membranity when it comes to that department, right? He gets his hands on he has got the most violent get off, put his hands on the shoulders of the chest of an offensive lineman and control that human being like he's a toy in the draft. He is the best in that department. Now, he might not be the best as bending and pliable like a Byron Murphy, right? His game's a little bit more upright, but still an absolute freak, right? When you talk about the first step, the quick, violent hands, and then the ability to shed and just shock blockers. I mean, look at this guy. This is 285. He looks like he's got a body like a 205-pound DB has, right? I mean, dominant everywhere. The hell with the stats. It is play up extraordinaire, disruption, right? Throwing blockers out of the way. Yeah, he doesn't get the tackle, but the running back's like, oh no, I'm not going there. He's there, right? I mean, it's incredible that way. He can, like I said, he can play a little stuff upright and stiff, but it's not bad. And then he makes up for it with the great physicality and hand strikes, and he keeps legs moving on contact always. That's where he's really good. I mean, he sells out. Like we talk about with Byron Murphy, maybe even more in this department with Darius Robinson. Like, no regard for his body, right? I'm going to get crushed here. I don't care. I'm going to dive in front of the moving truck and take one for the team because we got to get him down, right? Amazing. Big moment football, amazing. Right? I start to go through games, Georgia, a few of the other games, and late in the game, they need a play. The defense, damn, Darius Robinson shows up. He knows what time it is when it's time to make a play. Right?
Yeah, and he played in their bowl game, too, which he didn't need to do.
No,
he played in the
not.
bowl game against Ohio State. I like that, too. 22 years old, does turn 23 in September. He's from Southfield, Michigan, which is right close to Detroit, so another player who, out of respect for the Lions and hosting the draft, he should be available there.
He's got Detroit-type
29.
attitude. I could see that. I like it.
So he played 5 seasons at Missouri. The first 4 were at defensive tackle. Then he moved over to edge last season. Nathan Witt was one of the homies. He goes, hey, what about Darius Robinson out of Missouri? Are you considering him a defensive tackle, or was he not good enough to make that list? And so he wanted to know about this too. And so Missouri played him at both spots, and you can see last year compared to the first 4 years at Mizzou.
Yeah, I mean, he can do anything, right? He's a freak of nature, so he can do it all. His best position is going to be defensive tackle. He doesn't have the type of first step and speed and explosion that is going to scare NFL elite tackles with, like, oh no, here comes the speed rush. He's going to go around me, right?
As an edge, he used his strength more than his speed.
Exactly right. There's very few plays where you see him actually get around the edge and go, oh wow, he snuck by that guy with speed, right? Or using his hands. It's usually he comes into you full speed, he locks out those arms, and he tries to take the offensive tackle on a magic carpet ride into the quarterback's legs, right? I mean, that's what he's trying to do. So that's where I think he is better on the edge. And then, back to our chart, if you want to look at that, like, he's what I would call a 3 technique or a 5 technique. He'd be perfect. He's got plenty of that strength we talk about to be like, oh, what, Lane Johnson? You want to line? I'll line up right in front of you. Let's see. Let's get after it. I can hold my ground. I don't need help from anybody else. They don't need to stun me. It'll just be me and you. He's capable of that.
Maybe don't like egg him on
well,
like that.
I wouldn't egg him on either. I
Yeah.
wouldn't egg him on either. But I don't know. Maybe if I looked like Darius Robinson,
that's
I
true.
would egg him
Good
on.
point.
I don't know.
Good point.
But yeah, you look at that 4, 5, and then that 3. That's what he is. Right? And occasionally if you want to let him line up outside and just use his speed and just try to crash and collapse the pocket from the outside, you'll love that too. But shedding gaps, two-gapping, all of that is off the charts good, right? He's one of the safest picks in the draft, right? He's one of those guys where you just go, the floor is he's our starting 3 technique or 5 technique for like 10 years, and he's like real good, right? Like there's no bust factor with this human being. Okay, I think I talked about the selling out, the speed to power on the edge, the shedding the blocks, all of that. Right. I think when I looked at him as a football player, and if I had to throw out names here, to me it's more DeForest Buckner. Right, it's that guy. If you look at DeForest Buckner, right, Eric Armstead. They're a little heavier in weight, but it's same arm length. It's in the ballpark. I think it's more that type of guy. Right. I did write Jadeveon Clowney in a lot of ways because when he's on the edge, he looks like that. He's not as athletic as Clowney. He's more powerful than Clowney. Clowney, I think, was like 260-something coming out. Right, this guy's a bigger human being and a little more power-based.
An anonymous scouting director
in
the NFC on NFL.com says he's still learning to play. Kind of reminds me of Keon White, he says to him.
Oh, I hear
Patriots
there.
second-round pick in 2023, traits and what he could become. We do have his decagon, too, which is a little misleading because he is being compared to edge guys in this decagon, which shows the hand size, arm length, all the percentiles here. He's definitely one of the bigger edge guys. You see the athletic qualities would be on the lesser end of the edge guys, which is speaks to your point of why he is more of a 3 technique or 5 technique.
Yeah, that's right. He's an inside guy. He is, and that's where I think he's going to shine. The Keon White thing is an interesting one. I actually have Keon White written down for somebody else. We're going to talk about it a little later. I think he's more athletic than Keon White, though, even more athletic than he is. He's a little different that way, but as we saw, Keon White had a damn good year last year for the Patriots and did a lot of good things. I can understand that comparison, but love the player. Love the physicality. Love the fact that there's there's another one where you see SEC football, you see dominant play, he can't be blocked, and you go, he really doesn't know anything. He doesn't use his hands. He doesn't have a spin move. He does nothing. He's just doing it with his pure ability, playing hard, being tough. I'm excited for him. Got a chance to meet him at the Super Bowl,
you did
too.
talk to him.
And, it's Super Bowl, I talked to him. Combine, talked to him a little bit.
2 times.
Couldn't have been a better dude.
You think he goes first round?
Definitely.
Definitely.
I definitely think he's in the first round. Yeah, I think I wouldn't be shocked. Like 18 to 32 is what I wrote down. I don't think I don't overthink this. This is one where I look at it and go, wait, no, 285, ran 4.9, right? Incredible arms. Nobody overpowers him. Like we talked about with Byron Murphy and you brought up, the bad plays are like stalemates. It's like there's no bad plays. The bad plays are you go, okay, tie. You guys did a tie, right? That's all there is to it. He'll fit the NFL game instantly.
To your point right now, he is a projected late first-round pick, early second-round pick. He was mocked in the 4th or 5th round in December.
Gosh.
And then people saw him with his shirt off and said, you know what, that's probably late first round, early second round.
Yo, homies, what's up? I know it's the off season, but it's never the off season on Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Me and Ahmed Fareed are going to be here for it all. We got free agency. We're going to break it all down. The draft, the rankings of positions. Of course, we're going to unpack it all. Hit subscribe, get to my free agency reactions, 2024 draft rankings, and more. Thanks again for watching. Peace out, homies. See you soon.